I would like to welcome all of you to John the Mouse University. I am your professor, John the Mouse. Now at this high-class university, we will be learning lots. And as students of this university, I expect you to engage in the comment section and to use your thumbs up button. This video, we are going to get a little deeper into how to save some more money. Some might say you need to get more thrifty or do more frugal living. I think all play a part in saving money. I like to focus on not losing money that you do make. I think this is the most important thing you can learn. Everyone has their hand out to take your money. Only you can decide who gets it by your actions. As we go along, I will give some suggestions on how you can keep more of your money from them. The very first thing you need to learn is the difference from needs and wants. This very understanding will unlock the next steps you should be asking yourself. Every company is going to try to sell you on it's a need, not a want. Just look at all of them that try to get you addictive on the product. Let's name a few additives, stuff like alcohol, nicotine, sugar, all stuff we can live without. We don't need it to live. We have other companies using planned obsolescence to get you to buy a newer product by having old product not work as well. Some even plan parts to wear out just right after the warranty goes out. Others like to push their latest and greatest, and you need to have it. Everyone seems to like to follow the Joneses. Probably why most people live paycheck to paycheck. This is part of the reason people are poor. People want to look rich. Rich people use their extra money that they have to make even more money. Then they use that extra money to make more money. That's how you get rich. Slow and steady climb to get more and more wealth. So how are you going to get your extra money to make more money? Well, you probably have heard it. It takes money to make money. So let's start in the stuff you buy. Toilet paper is the biggest thing people pay to flush down the toilet. You don't need triple ply to wipe your butt. You want something soft? People got by for years using newspaper. You can find old newspapers. You can use that for free. Just don't flush it down your plumbing. It might cause a bigger problem. So first we're going to downgrade that triple ply to the cheapest thing you can buy or find. It will probably be a off-brand single ply. With that money that you save every week buying the cheap toilet paper, you're going to put that together and buy a bigger pack of cheap toilet paper. Buying in bulk, you're going to learn, will save you even more money. A few months down the road, you'll have saved enough to buy a case of cheap toilet paper. You now are at the point that you can start putting that extra toilet paper fund into other things. Now, you can apply this method to everything you buy a lot of. All the extra money that you saved, this way you should put into savings. So you can start growing an emergency fund. This fund is very important to help protect you from things that pop up in your life that you didn't see coming. Do you eat out? Lots of money gets wasted this way. You can make stuff at home cheaper than you can eat out. It's a lot better than fast food. You can pack lunch for work to save money that way. The best way is to pack leftovers, so you don't have to make something special for work. There is a lot of ways you can save money on stuff. Get used items make things work. You can learn a lot from others just from the past to stretch a dollar. This is where frugal living or being thrifty steps in. Just remember, the less money you waste, the less money you have to make. Now just remember, you can't go cheap on everything. If you got to replace it more often, you will probably be spending more in the long run. Every situation is different. That's why you need to decide for yourself what is the best for you. Maybe that used tire is just what you need to get by until you get all brand new tires. Another thing I can't believe people spend tons of money on is new cars and trucks. Why would people sink money into a depreciating asset, then finance it with money they don't have? That also requires you to have full coverage insurance, so you cover the financer's risk of loss. In the end, you take all the risk. This is where you ask yourself, is it really a need or a want? Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a better vehicle to drive around, but you don't need it. This is where I will point out another idea that has worked for many over the years. You only buy cars and trucks that are cheap and are known to be reliable, that have a good track record. I'm talking about what most would think as a kid's first car, a throwaway car for some. This car or truck will be worth what most people pay in a month in vehicle payments and insurance. You need something that just gets you to point A and B. The idea behind this is that you own the vehicle and you're saving money from the vehicle payment to the bank and saving money on the extra insurance you would have to have on it to cover the loan. We know that the vehicle isn't going to last forever. It's going to break down at some point. That's why we are going to look for a spare vehicle. This one will be our backup car or truck for the other vehicle that will eventually break down. The idea is to always have a vehicle ready to run because we know vehicles break down. You'll find after crunching the numbers, it is cheaper than the monthly payments of a new car. Another thing where we can build on with the old vehicles is another asset you can have. This asset is learning how to work on your vehicle. There is a lot of YouTube videos on working on cars, and because your vehicle's older, more than likely there's probably several vehicles that are on YouTube showing how to work on it. And by also having this spare vehicle, it gives you the time to work on your vehicle that's broken down. It gives you a chance to learn. Growing up in my family, we used the extra vehicle a lot. It seemed like by the time we got one vehicle fixed, it was time to get another one fixed. Now, these vehicles were a little bit better than the vehicle I was talking about. But as you can see, the same principles still apply. The extra vehicle gives you more options. In the end, that's what you want. You need to make the right choice for you and not be pushed into a bad choice. Bad choices will always cost you more in the end. Another place I can apply this to is my cell phones in the household. If we have a phone that breaks, we have an older cell phone ready to take its place. This gives us time to make a choice in getting another one. I know in my line of work, you need a cell phone to contact and communicate with others. And with YouTube, it really has turned the phone into a business expense. Without my cell phone, I couldn't make all my YouTube videos that I do. This is another part you can learn to do, is to turn your assets into making you money or helping you make money. This stuff needs a video all by itself. This video, I'm trying to show you how to plug the holes in the bottom of your financial bucket. I think this is the most important step you can do. Everyone can find something they can cut expenses on. In return, they'll free up some money so you can make it work for you. Next time you're up for a pay raise, you should act like you never got a pay raise. This is also something I still use today. I have my paycheck direct deposited into my savings account. So any overtime or pay raises went straight into savings. Now from savings, the bank let me set up an automatic weekly transfer into my checking account of $300 a week. Now that's all I could live on for a week. 20 years later, I still live under that. Over that time, I have built up my skills so I could make more money. That money I have used to buy assets. It's true I've used the bank to fund a few of my rentals, but I also paid cash for a few. I paid cash for my house. It's not a big house. You have to remember, bigger the house, the more you pay for heat, cooling, taxes, and to fix it. I look at my house as a money pit for the most part. You do get a few tax benefits from it, not like you do from rentals. You can learn on your house to do different things like fix it. I rewired my first house I had. That's a skill I learned in part of having the house. Can't say it will be that easy in your state. You'll have to see how restrictive your state or city is. When you're done, have an inspector look at your work and sign off on it. Every person's situation is different and skill level. That's why you're the only one that can figure it out. Maybe that's why it's hard for people to get started. I see most people would rather be a follower than brave their own path. And if that's what you want to do, that's okay with me too. Another thing I would like to point out is that your decisions that you make today can affect you years down the road. I know for the most part, most don't worry about that. But from experience, I have seen stuff come back to bite you in the butt. Other decisions you will reap the rewards from. Every year, make it a habit to look over your expenses and see where you're sitting. Holes in the bottom of your bucket like to get bigger over time. That cable bill wants more money. Maybe there's a better option out there. Maybe there's a better cell phone plan that you can save some money. Always be on the lookout for deals that pop up. I have heard of many stories over the years on people missing out on great deals because they didn't have the funds at the time. As I can see the people that put themselves in the position to take advantage of these situations will put them in a better position. That is one reason why the rich get richer. They buy low when people have to get rid of it and sell it when everyone wants it. Over the years, I have seen the same thing happen over and over. The boom and bust cycle make people richer and poor. Even if the poor win the lottery, it doesn't make them better with their money. You can look online that lottery winners go bankrupt, like a lot of other people. They spend more than they make. It's a recipe for disaster. That's why I like to use my bucket with the holes in the bottom to tell the story of money. Everyone should be working on getting your bucket under a water spigot so your bucket won't run dry. But make sure that the well spigot is coming from don't run dry. That will have the same outcome of not pouring more money into the bucket. This can all be discussed in another video. There are lots of ways you can use the money you save to make you more wealth. I don't think there is one way to do it. Just look at rich people, how they've all made their money in their own way. I think you need to understand what you're doing. Don't blindly trust experts that just want your money for themselves. Like I've said earlier, everyone has their hands out for your money. All information provided in John the Mouse University is provided for information purposes only. John the Mouse University does not necessarily agree with every expert that comes on to give speeches at this fine university. We put a reasonable effort to present accurate information at John the Mouse University, but makes no guarantee of any kind. As you leave this university for the day, you will come across the tip jar. By no means does this mean you have to fill it up. If you like the information that you have received here today, I would encourage you to share this with everyone you know. I will be here for your next class.